Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to a Sunday with the Four Horsemen. I'm the Chadster, and today we're going to be covering our tournament number 13 quarterfinals. I'm joined by John Eckleberry. John, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We are going to be doing a very interesting match today. A match that John actually played versus William Kuhn. But just to make a reminder on the format, the Four Horsemen Old School Magic group focuses on the first 4 expansions of Old School Magic: The Gathering, Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark. Check us out at fourhorsemanmagic.com. So, John, we've got the new ban and restricted list, and this is our first tournament. How do you think this new ban and restricted is working out?
I think it's great. It's opened up the field. Restricting mana drain's a big deal, and so you're going to get to see a lot of different decks. And I'm definitely going to say, without any reservation, that this match is the greatest match of Four Horsemen that I've ever played.
Wow.
13, and this game is probably the most interesting match that I've been involved in.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. That's a great teaser for the intro. So this match took place just a few weeks ago in April. You know, tournament 13 has running March, April, and May. We did a 5-week schedule, and this was one of the quarterfinals matches. You can see the brackets here. Our top 8 players were Philippe, JS, Peter, David, John, William, me, and Paris. So we're going to be covering this match between John and William today. Here's a look at the deck overviews. We've got John Eckleberry on the left with Never Say Never Again, sticking with his mono blue robots control themes with some interesting tweaks and the James Bond nod. And on the right, we have William Kuhn's black-white Witches, Ogress, and Spirit Links Ashnods Transmogrant deck. Really cool, with a really interesting black and white combo. So let's get into the deck pictures. John, you want to make some comments on your deck first?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a take on my tournament 12 deck. I was not going to play blue again. I was going to play something else entirely, and I've been working on a couple extra decks. I've got a black deck I've been working on that I can't quite make work, which is interesting because I feel like William's deck in this tournament is everything that I wanted my deck to be. His deck's awesome, and we'll get to that. But I kind of wanted, at the end of the day, I wondered if this deck would even work with mana drain restricted, if it would still be good. And I'd say probably it's about 75% same list as last time, but I did make a few tweaks. I obviously had to take the mana drains out, so I did. And in their place, I'm running 4 spikes. I'm running ghost ships instead of Serendib Ifrits, which I decided to cut all together because there's a lot of weird games that go long in this format, and you end up killing yourself with the damage that it does you.
Yeah.
I think life gain is actually super important in this format. It's interesting. 2 things really matter in this format that don't matter in a lot of other formats: enchantments and life gain. And I think that makes for some interesting play that you don't see elsewhere. And then also Amnesia came in as another kind of card to substitute for not having mana drains. If I can't counter their stuff, maybe I can take it away from them before they can play it. And they've been kind of interesting in some of the matches as well.
Yeah. Well, and you've been piloting several different versions of this deck, going all the way back to Tournament 2, robots, blue, control. So this is now you've done other things too, but it's interesting to see how this mono blue deck with the robots has evolved over time. John, let's take a quick look at your tournament number 12, the prior version of this deck. And you've already mentioned some of the key differences, the mana drains. Is that the major change? Just the mana drains, or what else did you tweak?
Yeah, the mana drain is a major change. As I mentioned, I decided to ditch Serendib for Ghost Ship. I think there's probably room for all of them. There could be a version of this deck that plays the Ghost Ship, the Drake, and the Serendib. It's just hard to make room for everything, and I decided to go Serendibless this time. Also, I moved the Time Elementals to the sideboard for Tournament 13, which I still think that card's amazing, and there's certain matches that I want it for, but I decided not to mainboard it. Also, you'll notice that I have Old Man of the Sea in the last tournament, and I dropped it for Flash Floods, and I actually think that that's incorrect. I mean, again, maybe you could make room for both because they're both good, but I don't think Flash Flood's that useful that often against most of the decks I'm seeing. And Old Man, I kind of wished I had against certain decks, including this one that I'm about to play, and I didn't have access to it this time, so he'll probably go back in next time.
Interesting. Okay. Well, this is an awesome build. It's so solid and stable, and it's got a lot of answers. The boomerangs, the force spikes, the remove souls, and the all powerful amnesia. The art with the guy with the hole in his head is so cool and so promptly apt for that particular card and what it does. We don't have ABU beyond the basic lands and dual lands, so the fact that Amnesia is in this format from the dark gives blue a 6 casting cost Mind Twist, basically.
It's so mean. It's so mean. And in a deck like this that has ability to return things to their hand, I can sometimes zing them for extra cards. Like if I'm sitting on an Amnesia that I don't think is going to be great, I can maybe boomerang one thing and time elemental another thing, and then hit them with the amnesia and know what I'm getting, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the powerful ability to just pay 6 mana, and you've got the Fellwar Stones, so it's not as hard as you think as it would be to get to 6 mana. Who is calling me here? Is that you, John? Maybe I need to answer it on here. I think we lost John. 1 second. Hey, John.
Hey, we got audio back. Good. I lost you there for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Are you good now?
I'm good.
Okay. So we were just covering your deck, and we were talking about the power of amnesia and the fact that an opponent discarding everything in their hand. I mean, obviously everybody's playing lands early, so 90% of the time they're gonna drop their whole hand, and you've got Fellwar Stones to ramp it up. Plus, I mean, you're running a solid 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You're running 23 lands. One of those is a maze, but then you've got the 4 Fellwar Stones. So you've got 27. Well, you got 26 mana sources. Is that the right number? Because I know you've tweaked this quite a bit to get the right ramp. Are you happy with that mana base?
I was pretty happy with it this tournament. It's really funny. Michael Scheffnecker was razzing me last tournament because I played 61 cards, and my Talaria was my 61st card. Which, by the way, Talaria is pretty goofy. Like, it really could just be an island. Like, I've never used the ability that removes banding from something before. I guess there are a couple banding creatures format, but it should probably just be an island.
Yeah.
It could get Blood Mooned, I guess. I mean, I don't really care about the deck because I have so many basics, but this seemed to be a good mix. I was able to get it in at 60 cards instead of 61 this time, and I like the land mix pretty well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, this deck has been a powerhouse. You powered through all the group matches. We going back to the brackets real quick. We had a top 16 for the first time in Four Horsemen because we had 41 people sign up for this tournament. You powered through the top 16, and now you're in the quarterfinals. So this deck is a force to be reckoned with. The mono blue robots never say never again. Iterative on Dr.
There were like a bunch of games I thought I was going to lose with this deck. There were a lot of matches where they just pummeled me till I was at like 5 life or something, and then I was able to just stabilize and out of the hole, which makes it kind of a fun deck to play because it felt like there was a little back and forth, with my opponents. But yeah, anyway, we'll get into it.
All right. Well, that's a great build, John, and congrats on making it into the quarterfinals yet again. Okay, with that, let's take a look at the amazing William Kuhn's Ashnods Spirited Ogress and Witches deck. I love this deck. John, what do you have to say about the black and white Spirited Ogress and Witches here?
This deck is awesome. Like, this deck is everything I wanted my black deck that I was working on to be, but all the chinks in the armor, he has shorn up with these white cards, and I think this is such a cool concept. I love the idea that he's playing all these creatures that do him damage, but then he can just toss a Spirit Link on it and not worry about it, or he can, of course, use the Spirit Links defensively if he needs to. He's got a lot of cool little interactions in here with the different cards. He's got those circle of protections in his board that he can also use to prevent damage from his own creatures as well as creatures in his opponent's deck. And I mean, it's so versatile that it does 2 colors. I mean, the fact that one card nerfs black and red, I was annoyed by that card all the way back in tournament number 1. And it's funny, we haven't seen it a lot, but it's pretty great. He's got relic barriers, which we haven't seen much of, but I think are pretty important. They're certainly pretty good against me with my artifact creatures. And he's playing Fallen Angel, which is like one of my favorite old school cards from a kid. He even has a June and Ifrit in there, which I always love when I see that card because it's the very first Magic card I ever saw. And I saw the art on that card and I was like, what is this game? I got to learn to play it. It's awesome. And,
yeah.
It's just great. Like, I think his deck is fabulous. And I was like, I was sad that I beat it because I was like, I'm just going to lose to the next guy. But, like, this deck could go all the way, and this deck's really innovative and really interesting. But I hope he comes back and either plays this deck again or tweaks it some more because it was very, very good.
Yeah. And, William, let's take a look at William's Tournament 11 deck. Since we showed your Tournament 12, your prior iteration, William has played various iterations of this Argivian Transmogrant deck, not only in Four Horsemen, but in other formats. Here's a look at Tournament 11 and William Kuhn's Argivian Transmogrant in Tournament 11. And, it was a mono white deck with artifacts, and he ran Divine Offerings and the Ashnods Transmogrants, Angelic Voices, a bunch of utility lands, and a full array of creatures, including the Repentant Blacksmith for Pro Red and King Suleiman. But the Argivian Archaeologist is what creates the iteration to bring the Ashnods Transmogrants back. And Williams played, I think, a version of this in Swedish and Atlantic, as well as 7-Point Singleton and a few others. Like, he's really been innovating and iterating around the idea of the Transmogrant with Divine Offering and things like the Argivian Archaeologist. So it's a really cool concept. And with this black and white version, he's taken it in a whole new direction. You've got the Kumbaj Witches, the Hazran Ogress. All of those creatures deal damage to you, and the Urg Raiders as well also deal damage to you if you don't attack with them. So the ability to mitigate the downside, Kumbaj Witches, they tap to deal 1 damage to any target, and the opponent can deal a damage back to you or to any other target. And the fact that every time he does that, if he has the Witch's Spirit linked, he gains a life, and it kind of mitigates some of the damage. The Hazren Ogress are 3/2. Those guys are, or those ladies rather, are baller, and they can attack on turn 3 for 3 damage. And if you Spirit link it, you're going to gain 3 life on the attack. Plus, if you don't pay the 2, they deal 2 damage to you. If you do pay the 2, they don't deal any damage. So you've got a way to mitigate paying that 2 with just 1 white Spirit link. And then the same for the Erg Raiders. If you Spirit link the Erg Raiders, they attack for 2. They're 2/3, or they can block. And if you don't attack, they deal damage to you, but that gets mitigated by the Spirit link as well. So I think that's just very creative, very innovative. He's got the Divine Offerings and the Transmogrants again. Interestingly, John, he's only running 3 Transmogrants this time and no Argivian Archaeologist. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so he can't get him back. He can't recur him, but I think that he's using him just a little more sparsely. A little holding on to him and then using it, on something important. He's got like a few more combos going on. Like in game, a lot of games in this format, sometimes you can get deadlocked, and there's turns where nobody's doing any damage. But take a look at the way he deals with that. He has Underworld Dreams, which is a fantastic way to deal recurring damage in a deadlocked game. He has Artifact Possession in his sideboard, which is really important against me. He can play that on one of your artifacts, and then he can use the Relic Barrier to tap that artifact to constantly do you 2 damage every turn. So basically, he's shocking you every turn.
Wow.
And that brings us back around to the Transmogrant, because if he uses Transmogrant on something to turn into an artifact creature, he can just use Relic Barrier on it. So
my God.
He doesn't have to destroy it. He can just tap it infinitely.
Oh, wow.
So,
now the strategy really shines through. So, when I first looked at this deck, the Relic Barrier mystified me. But now that I see the Transmogrants can turn... You can either destroy something with the Divine Offering if you Transmogrant it, if it's not an artifact and it becomes an artifact, or you can turn it into an artifact and just tap it. And if he comes up against an artifact-heavy deck with robots and things, and he's seen the deck pictures, and he's played in the prior tournaments, so he knows that he's going to be up against things like Triskelions, Clockwork Avians, things like maybe Suchis, or Tetravis. All of those artifact robots make a showing, so he can use Artifact Possession, and then he's tapping them every turn, and you're just taking 2 damage with a disabled artifact creature.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very solid. His board is really well thought out. His deck is really well thought out. And this is a great match. So
yeah.
let's jump in and watch it.
All right. Well, hats off to William Kuhn. I mean, I think William's got to win the Spice Award for this deck. I've seen all the deck photos. I think this deck is so innovative and creative, and William's done a host of other creative, innovative decks, but this one really is impressive. And for anyone who's maybe new to the Four Horsemen, or you're accustomed to other old school formats, the most unique thing about the Four Horsemen is that it opens the window of play to decks like this. Decks that are using cards that never get any play in any other old school format, like EC, Swedish, Atlantic, even 7-point Singleton. You don't see a lot of this stuff. It's so unique that it creates an environment where you can play these cards. From Fallen Angel to Kabul Ghoul, Juna Nefrit, the Erg Raiders, the Hazren Ogress, the Kumbaj Witches, even things like Hellfire, the Spirit Link. I just love it. I think this deck is fantastic. Hats off to William. Okay, with that, let's get into the match. Never Say Never Again versus William's Ashnod Spirited Ogress and Witches. John, I'm going to switch over to the video. Are you ready, John?
I'm ready. Count us down.
All right. 3, 2, 1. There we go. For our viewers,
This is
oh, sorry, John.
oh
Yeah, I was
okay,
just gonna say for our viewers, we're playing this at 2x speed. John recorded this match, and we've just lined these up so we can commentate on this together. So, John, you were saying that this is your most famous, what did you say? This is the best match of Four Horsemen you think you've ever played?
I think this is the greatest match of Four Horsemen played ever by anybody. I mean, I don't know. I suppose there could be another one out there. Maybe somebody's played a really interesting game, but certainly the most interesting one that we have on camera.
Even more so than like I found that the match of Matthew Mesa versus Brian Weissman was incredible as well.
Oh, that was a very good one. That's another one that was really tight and went to game 3 and really went down to the last turn. It really mattered.
Yeah. Is this a double mulligan? Are you guys each taking a mulligan here?
I believe we both mulligan on game 1. Yes.
Interesting.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that I mulligan twice. I think I go to 5.
Wow.
Which is not a thing that happens very often with... Oh, maybe I only go to 6 this time. It looks like I only put 1 back under.
Okay.
And so does he. But there was a match where I went to 5, and it doesn't happen very often with this deck because I feel like it's just a really homogenous pile of all the same garbage. And so you look at your hand and you shrug and you say, yeah, this is fine, I'll keep. Like, you almost never throw it back. I only throw it back if I don't have any hands.
Oh my gosh. The force spike. You just force spiked the Hazard Ogress. Wow.
Spike has been my greatest joy in this tournament. It's so funny getting them with force spike early on in game 1. It's always so good. Such a good tempo breaker. And
now Kumbaj Witches to follow it up. And he's got the Strip Mine and you got the Maze of Ith. Oh, Underworld Dreams on turn 3. Look at that. 4. Wow.
You know, I don't remember if I lose this game, but I feel like I must lose this game, right? Like, he's already, like, he's already got the stuff. Well, that's a pretty good comeback.
Yeah, I mean, a turn 4 workshop for you and a Clockwork Avian 5/5. Oh my gosh,
so,
Divine Offering.
Notice how I held my workshop until he had already used his Strip Mine. Because I'm pretty sure I had my hand from the beginning.
Yeah, but he Divine Offerings your Clockwork Avian gaining 5 life right out of the gate there. Man, this 2x speed is really fast. Holy crap.
It is, but it's a really, really long match. So like it's kind of fun, and it's fun to see all these cards flying out. So like his board is strong. It's strong, but my Killian is gonna hold the line. I think he can't really attack me.
Yeah, you dropped a turn. What was that? A turn 5 Triskelion there to follow up losing your Avian. The workshop is just really doing the work here. But he's got Urg Raiders, Kumbaj Witches, and he's got the Transmogrant. Yeah, so your Triskelion is a serious answer right here.
So he did me a damage with the Witches, and I'm deciding if I want to put that damage onto something else and then use some of my trike counters. And I end up deciding to do that. Now, he can pop his Transmogrant to save the Witches, but then all that would do is make me use my last counter, and so he chooses not to. I don't love having a 2/2 instead of a 4/4 to block with. It was definitely something I considered before I did it, but...
Yeah, now here come the Urg Raiders and the Spirit-linked Urg Raiders at that. So now he gains 2 life, and you can't block because you'll lose your Triskelion. So he's trickling up to 27 in life, but got you at 10? Wow.
Yeah. He's hammering me for sure.
Oh my gosh.
I had a lot of games like this in the tournament where I get hammered early on and then I'm able to dig out of the hole. I don't remember if I totally dig out in this one or not. I mean, certainly I'm on a clock because Underworld Dreams is, it's gonna kill me eventually.
Yeah, you're on the real clock because there's nothing you can do about Underworld Dreams, and you don't have much life gain. I think you've got a Diamond Valley in your sideboard, but he's at 27 life, and he's hitting with the Urg Raiders and gaining 2 every turn. Plus, If he happens to not attack with the Erg Raiders, he still gains 2.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's way out there ahead of me, I feel.
Well, I guess he would gain 2 and lose 2, so he would even out on if he doesn't attack.
Yeah, he just wouldn't take any damage. But like, how can I hope to do him 23 damage before he does me?
So you're coming in with the Factory and the Triskelion, so you hit for 4, bringing him to 23, and then on your draw you lose to the Underworld, so you're at 9. You're digging with the book.
But every time I dig with a book, I have to take another damage too. So like, it's really, it's really tough.
That's brutal. Yeah, I mean, Underworld Dreams is good against Sylvan Library. It's good against Jaloom Tome. It's good against, the Book of Ross. Any of the drawing engines in Four Horsemen, it's going to really, really punish you for it.
So as you mentioned, I do have life gain in my deck, but it's mostly in my sideboard. I've got single copies of Ivory Tower, Fountain of Youth, and Diamond Valley. So all 3 of those cards will definitely come in games 2 and 3. Okay, so I dropped another Trike, and I elected to just kill his Erg Raiders because I can't have him gaining life every turn. There's no way I'll ever outrace him.
Right.
So I've got these 2 Trikes that don't have any counters on.
But he sacked his Transmogrant. What happened with his Transmogrant there?
He used it to make me use all of my Trike counters instead of just.
So now you're hitting him with 2 1/1 Trikes and an Azure Drake and a Factory. So you've.
Oh my god!
Wow, you've really closed the gap here, John. Now you got a Clockwork. Man, that workshop has saved your ass, John.
That workshop is insane. It's insane. Oh, I accidentally switched over to Poison. I'm like, what's going on?
Poison life. Oh, look at that. Wow, but yeah, now you've got a whole robots army here.
Yeah, this game has really turned itself around. He's got a Cobble Ghoul. Swinging with all this stuff.
Wow, and he gets the Cobble Ghoul, but all right, so he's blocking one of the Triskelions. No? Who did he block? Oh, he probably blocked the Factory, maybe?
Factory. Yeah, he blocked the Factory.
All right.
Wow, what a comeback.
What a comeback. Oh, my gosh.
Dude.
Man, that match, I thought William was going to crush you, for sure.
I thought he was going to crush me, too. And it's funny, because I didn't remember, and so I was like, oh, this must be the one I lost, because I do lose one of them. Spoiler alert. We played 3.
Yeah, don't give those away. But, man, like, William just started off like a rocket. If you had not had that workshop, John, you would have lost, right?
I think, well, I had, how many lands did I have out of the end? I had quite a few. I think I was up to 6, but it did help. It helped me get out one early Clockwork that he destroyed with a Divine Offering, and then I was able to then play 2 Trikes and another Clockwork.
Hey, John.
And a couple of blue flyers.
Yeah. John, can we do a pause real quick? I'll count us down.
Sure.
All right. 3, 2, 1, pause.
You got it.
Let's jump over to the. I want to jump back to the deck, so because I know we're playing at such a fast speed on the video. I want to talk about sideboarding. Okay, let's start with your deck first, and then we'll get into William's deck. So, what are you thinking in this match right now? I mean, you won, but only I think honestly only because of the workshop. And let's be honest, William had that. He had his restricted one of strip mine early, and like you pointed out, you waited to play the workshop until after he stripped your maze of it. So
yeah.
Man, that was a sequence of events that I think really just saved you here. I think
I was really worried that if I played the workshop and he had the strip mine, I would not draw any more islands and I would just be screwed. And so I decided to play the maze as a sacrificial, lamb. And then if he didn't destroy maze, cool, because then that'll stop me from dying too. But I think I'm trying to remember what I bring in game 2 against him. I don't think I bring the time elementals in game 2, even though I should. Because they're a good answer to
all his weenies.
Well, the weenies are fine, but cards that I can't get rid of, like Underworld Dreams, it allows me to bounce Underworld Dreams and not to have to take damage from it, which is nice. But I do probably bring in all the 3 life gain cards, the Fountain, the Tower, and the Diamond Valley. I think I might bring in the Taunus' Coffin in game 2, even though I don't think it's that good. I think I also bring in the Arena, which is a card that I've never played in this format before. I've never really paid attention to the book promos, but we do allow them, and so I feel like that's good against weenies because it will allow all of my 2/4s to fight his little guys and kill them. Yeah, and I think that's what I do for the second game, just the life gain and the coffin in the arena. So that's quite a few cards. That's what, 4 cards out of my board.
Yeah, life gain, the Fountain of Youth, the Ivory Tower, the coffin, and the arena. Yeah, that would be.
His board's really cool though. If you flip over to his deck, like he has these artifact possessions in his sideboard that are so good against me. He's got these 4 artifact possessions, and he's also got his relic barriers to tap anything he puts it on. Really brutal. And also he has the Circle of Protection artifacts, 2 copies in his sideboard. Like, he's definitely primed for the robots match. You know, if he goes against a hardcore robots deck, I think he can get him. Fortunately, I have like a plan B with all my blue creatures, but yeah. And he's got a maze in his board. I don't remember if he brings the maze in. Looks like he has a 4th relic barrier. He might bring that in. Hellfire is pretty good against me. Hellfire kills. Does Hellfire hit artifact creatures? I can't remember.
It does. It basically says all non-black creatures are destroyed, and then Hellfire does X plus 3 damage, where X is equal to the number of creatures. So, if you've got all your blue creatures out, he can, and you can't regenerate like your ghost ships. He could just pay 5 mana, 3 black and 2. And destroy them all and pay life for each one plus 3.
Yeah, it's real good.
He's gonna pay a bunch of life, but he doesn't care because he's got Divine Offerings and Spirit Links. That's another genius like synergy of this deck. Think about that. You're going to be taking a shit ton of damage from Hellfire, but when you have Spirit Links and Divine Offerings, you don't care.
Yeah, you don't care. And like, same thing for Ashes to Ashes. You don't care that much because you're going to be able to recoup that life loss.
Yeah. This deck is genius, man. Like, it's so spicy. I mean, you might look at this superficially and be like, oh yeah, cool deck. But if you really start digging into all these synergies, it's really amazing.
There's a ton of really cool interactions, and I just noticed that he also has a Hellfire main board. I didn't realize he did too. So there's 1 main and 1 side, but like this deck is real tough. It's very, very good. I think it's my favorite deck that I've seen so far.
Yeah,
in this form.
I agree. I love it. Okay, so if I'm William, and William is a seasoned, experienced old school player, and he's a very methodical, meticulous, and powerful player too. He knows how to pilot these types of decks because he's played so many iterations of them. If I'm William, what would I sideboard in here? I think the artifact possessions are really good. The Circle Protection artifact is also potentially powerful, but the artifact possessions unto themselves might be enough because it's just gonna crush you and damage with the relic barrier. So I don't know if I would sideboard in the COP artifacts. I might just sideboard in the artifact possessions and the extra relic barrier, but I also kind of think Ashes to Ashes is just unbelievably powerful, and if he gets it early and you've got an Azure Drake and a Ghost Ship out, for example, it could crush you. The problem is you're playing artifact creatures, so
yeah,
Ashes to Ashes is not
there's
quite
other
as good
answer for the artifact creatures, I feel. So like, it is pretty nice to get rid of 2 4-cost, 2 4 flyers that I've invested probably 2 turns in playing, and then he can just nuke both of those and go on his way. Like, it's pretty good. And it's interesting, the only copy in his deck, right? There's only that one Ashes to Ashes, and there's 1 Oubliette.
Well, there's in his main board. There's an Ashes to Ashes and a single Oubliette main board, but there's a second Ashes to Ashes in the sideboard.
Oh, there is an ad.
Yeah.
I see the signed one. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, but just the one oubliette. Yeah, that's interesting.
It is.
I like it.
Like, only one oubliette is very curious, because oubliette is such a powerful card. And it's interesting he chose to run a single oubliette and run the relic barriers. So he's thinking, instead of removing your creatures, I want to, if they're artifact creatures, either by the Transmogrant or by the nature of you're playing robots, he's like, I don't want to remove them. I want to artifact possess them where they're doing 2 damage to you, and I'll relic barrier them every turn, and you'll be taking anywhere between 2, 3, maybe even 5 damage per turn between Underworld Dreams and artifact possessions.
Yeah, and I think in this build, the single oubliette just acts as Ashes to Ashes number 3, but just is softer on the life loss for him, right? Like, you can't have every card in your deck do you damage. So, like, just having one copy that a way to remove something that doesn't do damage to you is nice. But, you know, he can also put his Spirit Links on my stuff, too. There's so many avenues for him to neutralize damage that I'm doing that it's really tough to get in there.
Yeah. All right, so let's break it down. What does Williams sideboard here? I think he has to sideboard the extra Hellfire because he wants to get rid of your blue, right? Or does he not? Because
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think the cards that he can pretty safely take out, like the Cobble Ghoul is just whatever. That's just the sideboard slot, right? Like, I don't know how good that is here. I guess maybe if he's planning on playing a Hellfire and it catches a bunch of guys, it'll get a bunch of counters, but I don't know how good that card is. It's tough though, because his deck's pretty tight, and it's tough to decide like what to take out to put the other stuff in, because if you start taking out too many creatures, it gets a lot less aggressive, and if you start taking out too many of these like interesting white answers, like it also weakens it a little bit. So it's one of the things I like about my current blue deck is that I feel like it's just a bunch of kind of okay cards, and it's really easy for me to sideboard because there's just a bunch of like multiples of junk in here that I can take out if I need to. You know, it's really easy to take those Force Spikes out once they've already game 1. It's easy to take out the Amnesias if they're not good against something that's fast, that's dumping its hand. I sideboard out that single Recall a lot that just kind of sits there. You know, sometimes I side out if they have a lot of artifact hate, maybe I side out the Clockwork Avians and the Workshop and just leave the Triskelions in because they're still pretty good. I mean, I could take all the artifact stuff out to make a lot of room, but I don't typically. There's just a lot of flexibility in sideboarding here.
Yeah.
And I don't think I sideboard particularly well in game 2, but we'll see.
Well, I think William has to be kind of worried about the Force Spikes when it comes to things like Underworld Dreams, especially Hellfire or Fallen Angel. Any of these things that cost 3, 4, or 5, the Force Spike starts to become a big concern, and then you have to slow down and wait to get to extra mana. But I just think that the sideboarding is gonna determine this match. So if I were William, I would definitely sideboard in my Maze of Ith. I think I would probably sideboard out the Cobble Ghoul and possibly the Junin Efreet. I know he wants as much creatures as possible, but the Cobble Ghoul, I don't know how much that's going to gain him. It's cost 3 to cast him. It's a 1/1, and if there's not a bunch of shit going to the graveyard, that card is not particularly strong. So if I were William, I would sideboard out Cobble Ghoul. Junin Efreet has the upkeeps, and you've got Force Spikes and remove souls and stuff like that. So I think I'd sideboard out the Junin Efreet, and I would bring in the Maze of Ith and probably the extra one of those artifact possessions. I don't know if he needs all 4 Underworld Dreams. I think, like you said, John, it's really, really, really tight on sideboarding for William here. He doesn't have too much to pull out if he wants to keep his strategy focused. Maybe the Ashes to Ashes main board needs to come out, and that would be 3 cards. So he could pull, because you've got too many artifact creatures, and he's going to be turning even more of them into artifacts with the Transmogrants. So I think he pulls out the Ashes to Ashes, the Cobbleghoul, the June and Efreet, and he puts in the Maze of Ith and 2 artifact possessions. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I mean, I'd probably pull the Efreet too just because of the upkeep, although a 3/3 flyer is not too bad against some of my 2/4 flyers. At least they bounce off of each other, but I don't think it's probably good enough to... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he does. I can't remember, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's switch back over to the video. And, John, I'll count us down when you're ready.
All right, let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, so William is actually doing some clear sleeve sideboarding and re-sleeving. Are his cards double sleeved?
Yeah, so I think what happened is I think what he's got going on is the regular size sleeve and then an oversleeve.
An oversleeve.
Rather than having the inner one, which I don't know. Sometimes people use those for if they have fancy sleeves that they don't want to get damaged or whatever, which isn't really the case here, but maybe for some reason he just had access to those instead of inner sleeves. But he must not have enough sleeves in his color sleeved up because he had to re-sleeve when he sideboarded. So
yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. You're like riffle shuffling, separate piles riffle shuffling. He's just doing the normal kind of shuffle. All right, so William's drawing, and you went to your 3 piles. Here's your hand. I'm at 1920, 1930. Are you on that same kind of time frame there, John?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so William starts with the Transmogrant first turn, and you have a Fountain of Youth first turn.
And I'm going to grab my power cord real quick. Plug in.
Okay, William plays a strip mine on second turn and drops the Urg Raiders. Wow, so the Urg Raiders can be a 3/4 attacker here on turn 3. Oh, and the strip mine comes, he's got that strip mine again early. Strip mining one of John's islands. Oh, and John boomerangs the Urg Raiders. Interesting. Okay, and Urg Raiders are back. So he doesn't take damage, but it's going to slow the Urg Raiders down. And now we're coming on turn 3. And William is playing a Relic Barrier. That's not going to help him right now, but it could certainly help him down the road. Urg Raiders have hit in for 2, but John has gained a life.
Proxy.
Yeah, the Relic Barrier proxy. Maybe we'll send William a Relic Barrier for his Spice Award, because I have some of those. Felwar Stone for John, and you sideboarded in the Diamond Valley. Look at that, John.
Yeah, I think all the life gain cards came in, so you already see I've drawn 2 of them already.
Spirit Link on the Urg Raiders using that City of Brass. And wow, so now William gains 2 and hits you for 2 more. But you've been able to... Oh, you've got the workshop again. Holy crap. Oh, man. Turn 4 clockwork for you, John.
Yeah, the workshop's good, although he turned...
Oh! Divine Offering on the clockwork before you can even comment on it.
Yeah, it's rough. So he's been tapping my Felwar Stone at upkeep with the Relic Barrier, so I can't use it, so I don't have the extra mana. Although I've already made it to Trike because that stupid workshop is pretty good.
The workshop again, and he stripped one of your basic islands to try and slow you down, and I'm sure he's regretting that now. All right, so he's hitting you with the Urg Raiders. You attacked with the Triskelion, but he's already at like 30-something life and takes 4 and doesn't care. He's like, all right, I'll take 4.
Yeah. Here's another game where I'm at 13 and he's at 28. It's a really uphill battle.
Wow.
And there's the again.
Yeah, now you've got Underworld Dreams, but you can stave off the Underworld Dreams with your Fountain of Youth, but it costs you 2 every turn. And that Transmogrant is protecting the Raiders. So if you were to try to ping the Raiders with your Triskelion damages, he could just pop his Transmogrant on there, and he's got a 3/4 Urg Raider.
Yeah, so I can't kill it, and I can't block it because his Relic Barrier can just tap my Triskelion every turn. But there's something to block with. There's a 2/4.
Okay, so wow, that's really saving you. That Azure Drake. Azure Drake is so strong in this format.
Yeah, it's really good. And imagine if that Azure Drake was a Serendipity free here. It would be pretty bad because it would be killing me.
Exactly.
But it's good as an Azure Drake, just sitting out there blocking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting how in Four Horsemen, as the format has evolved, Serendipity has just become a huge liability and is not that great of a card. All right, so he's put a Spirit Link on something. I guess he Spirit Linked your Azure Drake.
Usually I mark it, but
he tried to Spirit Link your Triskelion, and you did you shoot him, or did you just gain 4?
No, I wanted the life, so I just ate it for 4.
All right,
and gained 4.
Yep. Okay, so now he's popping the Transmogrant on your Azure Drake, and now he's going to Artifact Possess it. So now your Azure Drake is a 2/4 artifact creature that does 2 damage to you during your upkeep.
Well, it's a 3/5, and it does 2 to me anytime it becomes tapped. It does 2 to me.
Okay.
And so if I attack with it here, I take 2. If I don't attack with it, he's just gonna tap it with Relic Barrier. So I just decided to eat it.
Oh man, the Diamond Valley and the Workshop are doing all the work in this game.
Oh, insane! Diamond Valley is insane.
These
cards that we restricted list are still immensely powerful as one ofs.
Yeah. Okay, so and Williams burned his Strip Mine. I wonder if he sideboarded in his Felden's Cane. I think he had a Felden's Cane. Yes, he does have a Felden's Cane in his sideboard. I wonder if he sided it in so he can get that Strip Mine back.
Angel's so good.
Ooh, yeah, Fallen Angel here. Interesting. Man, what an interesting match this is. It's Fast and Furious at the 2x speed. But wow, so now your Drake is, you got a second Drake because you munched your first one that was artifact possessed.
I played a new Drake last turn. I can block Fallen Angel, but if I do, he can sack the Urgrators to kill it, which I think I probably still want to happen because he'll eat his Urgrators and then I'll eat my.
Ooh, the Relic Barrier just deals with the factory. You animate your factory, he's like, I'll tap that.
It's Relic Barrier is so annoying.
Oh, so then you just tap your mana. You tap it for mana to gain a life in response.
Yeah. So wow. I blocked the Fallen Angel, and he did not take the bait. He did not sack his guy to pump it.
William's too smart. He's going to keep that. Either it's life gain for him, or his Urgrators was not at any risk, so he keeps it in play. Okay, so you play another Felwar Stone, and you're going on the offensive with a single factory.
Well, I might as well get in there for 2 because he can just tap it if I try to block with it, right? It's damage, but it's very uphill for me.
Oh wow, yeah. So the Fallen Angel's getting you for 3 in the air, and you got 2 on the ground, and William is gaining 2 life every time. This is looking really rough for you, but you do have the Diamond Valley and the Fountain of Youth and the Workshop. Boom, Triskelion. There it is.
So I probably should shoot the Raiders right now so that he doesn't have the option to sack it anymore. I don't remember if I do or not. I probably also kind of want it because I want to have a 4/4 to attack with. But yeah, I do go ahead and just shoot that and get rid of it.
Yeah, that Triskelion just really bought you a lot of time right there, John.
These games are like this, where like there's a lot of push and pull and a lot of trying to stabilize and not knowing if you're going to be able to or not.
Oh, Divine Offering. Oh, but thank God for Diamond Valley. Oh my God, Diamond Valley is saving single-handedly. Oh my goodness.
Oh, good.
Oh, so he was going to gain 6 life, and you just Diamond Valley it and gain 1 instead. That's so strong.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to do him 25 in the time that he's got a second Underworld Dreams.
Oh.
So I'm going to be a turn.
Yeah.
but I'll do my best.
Oh
I'll
my
do
god.
my best.
Yeah, 2 damage per turn. Can you survive?
Fallen Angel can just kill either of my things or at least block them.
Yeah, that Fallen Angel is a great answer to your Drakes, because now you can never attack with them. Oh, and now Witches comes in, but you've got the Remove Soul. Wow.
So I had the Remove Soul in my hand when he played the Fallen Angel, but I was tapped out. And had I been able to counter that Fallen Angel, I think I could have won this game. But I wasn't able to do it, and it's just too hard for me to try to get around. I just don't think I can pull game 2 out.
So you gained a life off the fountain, and now you're down 2 more. But you've got a coffin. Ooh.
Yeah, I can get rid of Fallen Angel with the coffin, which I do.
Now, he could have sacked the angel to itself, but he's got Divine Offering, so he knows he can get rid of that coffin down the road, and the angel can come back.
And also if he sacked it to itself, I would just be able to then use the coffin on the next thing he played.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's astute to, like, just let it be locked up.
Yeah. Okay, so he taps his Relic Barrier. Is he trying to tap your Fountain of Youth, or what's he tapping with that Relic Barrier?
Yeah. He wants to force me to use my blue so that I don't have 2 blue up.
Ooh,
but
Divine Offering. There it is. Oh, so the mana drain!
I didn't gain the life, and I left my 2 blue up, and then I was able to use the mana drain.
Wow, that was amazing, John. That was such a... Like, that's a one-of restricted card now, so... Okay, Artifact Possession.
Here's this goddamn Artifact Possession. So he puts it on my Fountain of Youth. So every time he goes to tap Fountain of Youth with Relic Barrier, and either I have to use the Fountain and gain 1 and lose 2, or not use it and just lose 2. Like, it's really annoying.
That's brutal. Wow. Okay, so interesting. Man, what a game. 23-7, back and forth. I mean, he's got you on the ropes here, John. The double Underworld Dreams and Artifact Possession. Alright, so there it goes. You attack the factory, he Relic Barriers the factory. You get in for 2 with the Drake. Bringing it 21-7. I mean, he's 3x life on you. This is still looking very, very difficult for you, but great for William. Okay, man. This Diamond Valley Workshop combo, can it save you?
I mean, I'd already be dead if I didn't have the Diamond Valley.
Absolutely. Oh, what is that, the 3rd or 4th Divine Offering? Holy crap.
Yeah, he Divine Offering coffin and gets the angel back.
Oh, I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. And he gains 4 more life. Oh, shit. He's probably gained like 20 life at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. Okay, so you're down to 5, taking 2 on that Underworld Dreams every draw. I mean, are you sweating bullets right now?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if it's even possible for me to win, and I don't think that it is.
Yeah, even hitting in for 4. Oh, but this is interesting. Ghost Ship. That could change things.
Well, I can block forever now, so I can block the Fallen Angel forever.
And you can munch some of your other creatures to gain life, to stay alive.
Yeah.
But here comes an Urg Raider on William's side. Yeah, the Ghost Ship is a phenomenal answer to the Fallen Angel.
So I think I animate my factory and eat it here to gain 3 life, because he's got Relic Barrier and it's not that good. I'm just trying to do everything I can do to stay alive.
Yeah. But by attacking with the factory each turn, it shuts down that Relic Barrier Fountain of Youth thing.
Yeah, but he can just block it with his 3/3 now. Oh, there's another.
Well, that could be more life for you. All right, so you're gaining 1 and losing 2, so you're netting -1. Okay, so you're at 2. Holy shit, this is a rough game. But you do have, because of the Diamond freaking Valley. Okay, you're munching the Azure Drake, gaining 4 and then losing 2 to the Underworld Dreams for your draw.
It's so tough. Why did I eat it on my turn?
Because you would have been
turn?
dead otherwise. You were going to be taking you're going to be taking 2 damage, and you were at 3. So,
Well, why didn't I break at the end of his turn so that I untapped my Diamond Valley? Maybe it was tapped already.
I think it was tapped already from the Drake. From you munched the Drake to it already. Okay, so you're boomeranging your Fountain of Youth, and that artifact possession falls off, and you can replay it.
And now I can get.
Oh, yeah, that's genius, John. That's a genius maneuver. Boomerang is so strong.
I had like 6 cards I wanted to use Boomerang on, and I'm like, where do I put this Boomerang? And I'm like, oh, I have to put it on the Fountain of Youth to get rid of that stupid artifact possession.
God, so that was so strong. That was such a great move. Now you're going to be saving yourself 2 damage per turn, and you've got the Youth to gain life against the Underworlds. Plus, you got the Diamond Valley. So you're hanging on by the skin of your teeth.
So here he attacks with the Angel, and he sacks the Raiders to it, and then I just block with a Ghost Ship and regenerate, and he's like, oh, that sucks.
Oh, that was like a misplay.
He forgot that I could regenerate. But
I'm
going to die from the Underworld Dreams.
That was a misplay for William. A very rare misplay. But, yeah, you're going to have to sack one of the Ghost Ships or the Factory. But you get in for 2. You're getting in. Still getting in. Dang, you just showed your hand. You just flipped your hand over.
I just showed I had an island. We were talking about it, and I was like, nah, I've just got another island. I've been sitting on lands for quite a while. So I think it's funny. I know I eat this Factory eventually. Oh, God, there's another artifact possession.
Oh, shit.
It's so much damage. So I gain the life before the artifact possession hits the fountain.
You know, everyone thinks that artifact possession is a garbage card, and it never makes any appearances in any format. But here it is, just crushing, a solid deck.
In these kinds of games where there's like a fair amount of draw go, like it can really.
Ooh, Clockwork Avian. That's an interesting one. You could gain 4 life off of that eventually.
Yeah, I will eventually eat it for sure.
I mean,
if he didn't have that stupid Fallen Angel, I could be attacking every turn for 8, and I might actually be able to get there, but
yeah, so
I can't.
Your Time Elementals have not made a showing, so I guess you didn't side them in, because if you had Time Elemental...
I did not side them in Game 2, and I realized in Game 3 that was a mistake, and so I do bring all of them in Game 3, and they're very good.
Yeah, because Time Elemental would just completely shut down this artifact possession, Relic Barrier, and Fallen Angel, even the Underworld Dreams. Like, Time Elemental is just an unbelievable answer to all this. Okay, you got your Strip Mine. You're hanging on by a thread. 1 life.
Good to strip, though. He doesn't have anything else that's worthwhile.
Yeah. All right, so he's tapping your Clockwork even with the Relic Barrier. That is brutal. But you got the Ghost Ships. You're going to have to Diamond Valley, so you munch it and gain 4. That's not too shabby. That Relic Barrier, what that card gets like the MVP in this match. Oh, Oubliette. Oh, and your Diamond Valley's tapped, so you can't munch it.
Yeah.
All right, so one of your Ghost Ships is Oublietted, and you're down 2 more life to 3. And all you drew was another island, of course.
Yeah, we're getting down to the end here now. I've held on for a really long time.
Yeah.
And
wow, man, you weren't kidding when you said that this was a really good match. Okay, Kumbaj Witches comes in, but remove Soul. Jesus, remove Soul. All right, so you're munching the.
I was forced to munch the last Ghost Ship to not. I just drew another island. So I hung in there. I really hung in there. I mean, I gained something like 30 life. You'd have to go through and count it, but I think I gained 30 life that game.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't pull it out.
Wow.
So here I'm completely rethinking my sideboard strategy. I'm also wishing that I had Old Men of the Sea, but I don't have them, and so I'm like, well, what do I do here? You know, against his deck, those 4 Flash Floods are looking pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I bring in the Time Elementals, and I leave in the Life Gain cards because they were very good. Although, man, putting Artifact Possession on something like either Fountain of Youth or Ivory Tower is so annoying because they just sit out there, and I'm forced to boomerang my own thing in order to get rid of it.
Hey, John, can we do a pause on the videos and go back to the sideboards real quick?
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, pause. All right. So let's go back to these deck photos and let's take a look at reconsidering sideboarding for game 3. So it's 1 and 1, 1 for John, 1 for William. So John, you were saying that you felt like you did not sideboard correctly for game 1. Is that correct? Is that right?
Well, I definitely should have brought in the Time Elementals because he has enough stuff that I want to get rid of. And once I saw those Artifact Possessions in game 2, I'm like, I absolutely have to have these Time Elementals in my game plan. So I bring in the Time Elementals this time. I'm pretty sure I leave in all 3 Life Gain cards, the Fountain, the Tower, and the Valley. And I probably sideboard out, I don't know, I probably sideboard out I think I leave 1 Amnesia in, hoping that I can, like, have a turn where I kind of, like, send all his stuff to his hand and then make him discard all of it. I don't think it ever happens, but I think I do leave 1 in. I probably take out the 4 spikes to make room. Yeah, and that's probably all of them. I don't remember if I leave in the Coffin or not. The Coffin was okay in game 2. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't super good, and he can destroy it pretty easy.
So are you taking the Clockwork Avians out?
No, I think I leave them because I can still eat them with Diamond Valley, and I can still play him with Workshop early, possibly, and they're still a good flying threat. Like, I mean, he has lots of ways around them to destroy him and tap him, but I still think they're pretty good. Like, I think I need to have a threat density because he has so many ways to deal with my crap that, like, I need to eventually get in with something. And you saw that I was able to do that game 1 where I was really far behind, but then I just kind of spammed the board with creatures and, you know, swung in. And that's what I'm hoping to do again, although this ends up being quite a grind because you'll notice that we're 56 minutes of the video and there's 59 minutes left. So
oh my goodness.
Game 3 is a bit of a slugfest.
Oh wow. Okay, well there's another spoiler for everybody. Okay, so to net it out, you're sideboarding out what and you're sideboarding in what?
I believe I sideboard out 1 Amnesia, 4 Force Spikes, and maybe the Recall.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 6 cards.
6 cards.
I bring in the 3 Time Elementals, and the 3 Life Gain cards.
Okay, Diamond Valley, Ivory Tower, Fountain of Youth, and the 3 Time Elementals. Yeah. Okay, I think that's solid. All right, so for William, you know, I kind of wonder if William sideboarded anything at all. We didn't see. I mean, we all we saw was Artifact Possessions coming in. We didn't see Maze of Ith. We didn't see Ashes to Ashes. He did put in that. We did see Relic Barrier. It's interesting. He's playing a Relic Barrier proxy in the tournament, but in his deck photo, there's no proxies. Did you notice that?
That's really interesting. So it must either just be in another deck or I don't know.
Or maybe he picked one up.
He got it afterwards to take the photo.
I don't know. We haven't talked about it before, but you know, do you see Williams Chronicles Mistress Factory that's been you know, altered to the Winter Factory?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Cool.
I love it.
That is so cool. It's like one of his white bordered. It's the only non-land white bordered card. Pretty cool. I wonder who did that altar for him.
Well, and you'll notice too, it's a little bit hard to see in this picture because the text boxes are covered up on most of the cards, but a good portion of the cards in this deck are signed. Most of them are signed, so you'll see as he plays cards during the match, you'll notice a lot of them have signatures on the bottom.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm guessing that William just sideboards in Artifact Possessions. because
yeah, and I can tell you from memory, I do see a Circle of Protection artifacts this game too. So he brings in at least one of those.
So he must take out Ashes to Ashes, Cobble Ghoul, June and Ifrit, and he sideboards in the 3 artifact possessions. He's sticking with the 1 Oubliette. Maybe he sideboards out 1 Underworld Dreams for a COP artifact. I think it might be useful for him to sideboard in his Felden's Cane, since there's the potential for the game to go long, like you were talking about. And the Hellfire, we haven't seen Hellfire. Maybe he sideboards out Hellfire and puts in a COP artifact or Felden's Cane, because he knows you got the 4 spikes and the mana drain. So maybe Hellfire's not that great because it's expensive, and you know he's trying to just ride out that damage on the long-term game angle. All right, John. I'm gonna grab another whiskey and give me just a second. If you want to say anything else about William's deck, feel free, and I'll be right back.
Oh, what is there left to say? This is hands down, I think, the best Four Horsemen deck that I've played against. I want to play it. Like, as soon as we got done playing, I'm like, I wanted to build it and give this deck a try. I think it's fantastic. Chad mentioned that he thinks he'll probably side out Hellfire. Spoiler alert, I know he doesn't, because he casts a Hellfire in this game at a pretty key juncture that seems pretty good. It's a really fun play. Yeah, I don't remember if I see any of the other sideboard cards besides that and the artifact possessions and the 1 circle of protection.
Okay, John, I'm back.
Hello.
All right. So, are we good to move to game 3 here?
Yep, let's move to game 3.
All right, so I'm going to switch back over to the video, and I'll count us down if you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Wow, what an exciting match.
It was really refreshing, not only to play against like such a cool deck, but also just in general. We've had a lot of 2-0 sweeps when we've gotten into some of our top 8s. And it's nice to have a game that has a lot of back and forth and a lot of dynamic play. Like, I was pretty sure I was going to lose that second game, but I was able to hold in there for another probably 20 turns past when I thought I lost, and even though I still lost it, it was a fun puzzle to try to figure out. Like, that was still a fun game to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have been sad to lose this match. Like, I think it really could go either way at this point. And I would have been perfectly happy with William beating me here, and I think his deck had the potential to go all the way. So I don't think either of us mulligan on game 3. I think we both keep our hands, which is fine. I think my deck's pretty good at not having mulligan as long as I get land. Ooh, the first turn workshop mana burn into... There's 3 cards for me right out the gate.
Oh, wow. You got the workshop again. Oh, my gosh. How's that possible? Workshop all 3 games early?
Workshop early also, and it made a bit, and it was, I mean, game 1 it was good, but game 2 it was really good, although I lost game 2. And the reason that I ran it out turn 1 was because I only had 1 other land in my hand, and I had to get that Fellwar Stone down to make sure that I could do things like counter and whatever. But it looks like I drew into more lands, so it ended up not mattering. So this is the funny thing. So, like, I've got the early workshop, right? But I don't have anything to play with it. I don't have any other artifact stuff. I only have blue cards. So I had to get the Fellwar Stone down so that I could start playing my 4-drops.
Meanwhile, William's already got an Urg Raiders and a Kumbaj Witches, but you were able to remove Soul that second Witches. And you've got an early Ghost Ship and an early Drake.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about, like, where the game is in, you know, the first 5 turns or whatever, because I feel like I've got, you know, flying presence now. Ugh, that stupid Fallen Angel. Fallen Angel is such a problem for me. It just shuts me down, because instead of me swinging in for 4 a turn now in the air,
you got to block
and just getting an easy win, like, I just am now totally roadblocked. It's amazing how one card can just shut you down.
Yeah, because you want to save the 3 mana to regenerate in case he sacrifices, so you can't play hardly anything. Oh, but you get another Drake here. Wow.
Yeah.
The Drakes and the Ghost Ships. I mean, it's 8 cards that are just powerhouses in blue.
Yeah, the 2/4 flyers are really, really the backbone of the deck, I think. And then you throw the Clockwork Avian on top of it, and you have a third X4 flyer. So you've got 12 X4 flyers. And if you did want to play the Serendibs, you could have 16 X4 flyers. That might be excessive. But he goes ahead and blocks. What do? I triple block, right? So he attacks with the Fallen Angel, and I triple block it so that I can kill it. And then he sacrifices 2 of his guys so that he can kill 2 things. And I didn't really do the math. I thought he was going to be 1 short and only be able to kill 1 of my 3 guys. But he was able to use the Witches for the final point of damage before he sacrificed it.
Genius.
To kill 2 of my guys.
Oh, wow.
And so that left me in this. And then he Spirit Links my 3rd guy. So now all of a sudden, I've got nothing. I had 3 flyers, and now I've got nothing I can use.
Oh, my God. William is such a great player, and his deck is so strong.
But at the same time, he lost his board. So, like, it's really funny how we've both gone back to square one, and then he drops another Angel, and I'm just like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
I don't have a spell.
Oh, no. Oh, no is right. Wow. Okay, so you gain another life. At least you're not down to, like, you know, extremely low life like you were in the other games. Oh, recall. Look at this for 2.
I guess I kept the recall in. That's funny. I thought I sided it out, but I must have sided it out in game 2.
Wow, so you can get the Azure Drake and the Ghost Ship back.
Yeah, just more creatures. Just more creatures. Why not?
Wow, that's probably the first time in the history of Magic someone's played Recall and got back a Ghost Ship and an Azure Drake.
And you know what's funny? I think I literally said those words to him when I did it. I was like, I don't think anybody's ever recalled for these 2 cards before.
Never in the history of Magic has that ever happened. But in Four Horsemen, it's a thing. Oh, okay. So he's Divine Offering your life gain on the fountain, and you can't tap it for a life. Transmogrant comes down. He's popping it, and he's Divine Offering your Ghost Ship. Look at that. Boom. And then he gains 4 life. Oh, man, there goes your Regenerator, but the Maze of Ith is in play. He has a Maze as well.
Thankfully, I have the Maze. I mean, I think the Maze really keeps me in this game. I don't think I would have been able to do it without the Maze. It's funny. I have a black bordered Maze, but I'm playing this gold bordered one because I didn't want to have to float it out of another deck. Okay, so there's my other Drake comes down. There's that stupid Underworld Dreams. Man, I hate that card.
It's either stupid or genius, depending on perspective.
So good. Okay. So this is where the tide turns for me. Here's Time Elemental number 1.
Ooh.
And this is where the game gets good for me, where I'm able to start screwing around and just bouncing things. Because he doesn't really have... I mean, I guess he has some ways to kill it. He has an Oubliette, and he has some Ashes to Ashes, but I don't know if he left them in.
Mm-hmm.
And Hellfire, I guess, would kill it. But if he can't kill it, like, he doesn't have, you know, Chain Lightnings in his deck or anything, so... And if he can't kill it on that very first turn, it can protect itself.
Wow. So this is a fork in the road in the game, getting Time Elemental on the board. And obviously you didn't side it in game 2. You've sided it in game 3.
Yeah, and I really kind of wish that I would have cited it in game 2, but I realized my mistake in game 3, and I put it back in. So I bounced the Underworld Dream so that I don't take damage from it.
Yeah.
And then he has to recast it every turn, which is annoying for him. And I think I just do that for a while.
Oh, there's the Ashes to Ashes. Oh my god, so you bounce the elemental back?
Yeah, so I make the elemental, I bounce the elemental to my hand so that it doesn't die. So there was a question here about if he cast it and I bounce the elemental, could he then target both my drakes? But it's not, he has to target 2 things first.
Yeah.
And then so I look it up for him just for peace of mind. And then he targets a drake and the time elemental, and then I bounce the time elemental in my hand and the drake gets exiled. He was kind of hoping that he could get both drakes, but you know, it's good enough, I think. So he does get the drake. Time elemental protects itself and goes to my hand, and we'll come back out next turn.
Wow.
Time elemental being able to protect itself is super cool. It's a piece of the card that I really like.
Yeah, the fact that it didn't have summoning sickness and it could bounce itself it made all the difference in the world there. Okay, so you're taking a damage from Underworld. 15 to 18 is a pretty close game right now. He's still got the Fallen Angel. Your Azure Drake is spirit linked. So you could actually.
So like I want to play stuff, but I also like want to have mana up for time elemental. So do I play things? Do I not play things?
Look at you taking that back. You almost put that Drake into play and you untapped it and took it back. You even showed him you had it.
I think it takes these backsies.
I
should be disqualified.
Yeah.
I'm like, I set it down and I'm like, do I really want to play this? And I'm like, no.
Well, you didn't actually let go of it though. Like you had it in your hand. You never actually let go of it, and so I think that's okay. It's not like you.
I think I play it this turn. Because do I have enough lands now? I forget. 1, 2. No, not quite.
I know we've been pretty harsh on some other players about takebacks, so but you didn't actually let it go, and you didn't attack. You didn't go to the next phase. You tap stuff.
Well, I talked to him about it too. If you listen, I'm like, do I really want to play this card, William? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't think I want to play this card.
John, you're one of the only guys I know that talks out loud and talks through your thought process out loud.
Well, it's really funny. I just like self-commentate my whole match. When you're recording, when you use the audio for the recordings, like I post them raw to my YouTube sometimes, and then it works well because then there's already commentary built in. But it's funny. I think that the game is interesting enough that it's interesting if you know what the other player's thinking, and it's interesting if you kind of talk through the different options, and like frequently if I know what they have, I will suggest a better line of them that they might not have come up with, just because I think it's more interesting to have the game played well than to win. I don't know, like I'm coming back pretty strong here though, because
now you got a Triskelion. You just dropped your Triskelion. You're bouncing his Underworld. Yeah, you're starting to really establish your board. You got a shit ton of mana now.
So he puts Artifact Possession on my Triskelion. So I go ahead and I shoot the Fallen Angel, and then I return the Triskelion to my hand.
Oh, that's brutal.
I try to, and then I boomerang it.
Oh, so he Divine Offerings it in response, and then you boomerang. So you had double instant maneuvers there.
Yeah. So that was a big turn that made a difference, where he was like, he thought it was kind of a gotcha, where he'd be able to get rid of that trike.
Oh, when you try to bounce it with the time elemental, yeah.
White.
Oh, wow. And man, so he had that Divine Offering ready to go, but you outmaneuvered with Boomerang, the most powerful card in Four Horsemen.
But he's still got a Maze, which makes it really annoying for me to try to attack him. And now he's Spirit Linking again. I hate this, man.
Oh, wow.
So he Spirit Links my trike. I think about it for a while. I show whatever my card was. I can't remember what it was. I flashed it really quickly. and then it happens. The trike gets spirit linked.
So you
I
don't
don't
pop,
end
you
up
don't pop
doing
the
anything.
counters? Well, because you can bounce the Spirit Link or you can bounce the Triskelion with the
Right.
Time Elemental. Yeah. That Time Elemental, man, that is pivotal in this game. Holy crap.
It's insane in this game, and it gets more insane as the game goes along. So here's his funky relic barrier again, which cracks me up. And
the white proxy relic barrier that, yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So you're bouncing the Spirit Link, or what did you bounce? What happened there?
I bounced the Drake that had a Spirit Link on it.
Okay.
So that I could now get down another attacker.
And you play the Drake again.
And I play the Drake again, and then just pass back.
Now you've got so much mana that the late game Time Elemental thing is just working. Okay, so are you?
When I had 7 mana, I was like, boy, I wish I had 8 mana. It's so funny in this deck, like how greedy it is, but like it gets there eventually.
Yeah. Did you attack with the? No, he relic barriered your Triskelion.
Yeah, he relic barriered.
All right, now you dropped your extra island, so now you got the mana you need.
I've got so much land out now.
It's interesting. Your Ivory Tower is like useless because you have to play so many things.
Yeah, I can't really sit around and not play stuff. So like my Ivory Tower doesn't turn on for a while. It does become relevant though. It does turn on at some point.
Okay, so you're hitting him with 2 Drakes here. That's 4 points. So now you're 12 to 14. It's still a pretty close match here. Oh, Witches.
Yeah. Witches is good. I can't remember if it's good enough for me to counter or not. I don't remember what I do here. So I think I just kill it with the Triskelion.
You've got 1 removed soul in your graveyard. Like you got a lot of 1-ofs in your graveyard. Boomerang, Ghost Ship, Fountain of Youth, Felwerstone, Island, Remove Soul. So you still got a lot of answers coming up in the deck. Okay, so he plays another Underworld Dreams.
Yeah, he had 2 out earlier, and I bounced 1 to his hand. He finally got to replay it, and then he plays another artifact possession on my Felwerstone, I think, this time.
Yeah, right. Okay,
so I use my counters to kill the witches, and then he gains 3 life for that.
How does he gain 3 life for that?
Because there's a Spirit Link on my Triskelion.
Oh, that's right. Oh, wow. So that brings him back to 17. Interesting. Okay.
But I still felt like it was worth it because that card's annoying, and I just wanted it gone.
Yeah, you do not want to be taking 1 per turn from that thing. Okay, so you're bouncing the creature that the relic barrier was on, which was the Triskelion, right?
No, I bounced the Felwerstone.
Oh, you bounced the Felwerstone that the relic barrier was on.
Okay. Artifact possession with that.
The artifact possession, yes. Okay, got it. Right. Oh, look at this. Okay, a second time elemental. Oh no.
So William groans a bit here, and he's like, "Oh, well, 2 time elementals, good. This is something to have to deal with. So now I'm going to be able to return 2 things a turn if he doesn't kill those."
Well, but
I think I'm a little worried that he could Ashes to Ashes and really wreck my game. He could rip an Ashes to Ashes here, but
that would be the miracle card when those guys are both unable to bounce, but he didn't have it.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that would have been amazing. If he did. But to be fair, everybody had access to the top 8 deck pictures. So this is a top 8 quarterfinals match. So William did have the chance to look at your deck, and he knows you're running the time elementals if he did.
So I'm getting kind of conservative here. Like I bounced both of the Underworld Dreams to not take damage, but like I don't know. Like maybe I shouldn't have done that because it is kind of a waste of my turn. And let's see. I'm in a spot where
you're having to pay 8 mana to bounce 2 things, but you have so much mana you don't care.
And I'm not even doing it like it. I'm tied up doing it in a non-optimal time because like I'm doing it on my turn instead of on his turn, which sucks. I think at a certain point I'm gonna have to like just take the 2 damage and reset so that I can start doing it at the end of his turn again.
Yeah, but you're
There's
so
another
low.
artifact possession. I hate that card, man. It's so mean. He plays it on my tower this time.
On the ivory tower, yeah.
Yep, and he does me too. So
oh, look at that. Now you're down to 6. Ooh, it's getting really thin here. Oh, man.
Now I think I return 1. Yeah, I only return 1 of those.
And you return the tower.
I return the tower.
Yeah, to make the artifact possession fall off. Yeah, that 2 damage from the artifact possession is not good. But doesn't artifact possession activate when the artifact is tapped, or is it during the upkeep?
Yeah, it's whenever it's tapped. So he tapped it with his relic barrier.
Oh, he was tapping it with the relic barrier. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's where the relic barrier comes into play really well with cards like that. Because even a card like Ivory Tower that I would never tap, he can tap it with the relic barrier and make me take damage.
Man, that is so fast. That's such an intricate, like, innovative, creative
here I'm like, do I play this island? Do I not play this island? Is it better to leave it in my hand and have an extra card for Ivory Tower, or do I just want all the mana in the world? And I decide that I want all the mana in the world. The reason I want all the mana in the world is because there's a 3rd time elemental in my deck.
No.
And I want to live the dream of having all 3 time elementals out. And just being a total pain in William's ass.
Oh,
so
poor William.
I bounced the trike that has the Spirit Link. And that puts me at 6 cards in hand. And then what do I do here? Do I replay it? I must replay it because I have a workshop out, right? I'm thinking hard about something here because okay, so I gained 2 life from tower and then I lost 2 life from the 2 underworld dreams, so that kept me at 6. I play Triskelion. I'm struggling to get something down to actually do damage to him because I've still got a Drake with a Spirit Link, and he still has a Maze of Ith. So I need to have at least 2 threats on the board that aren't artifacts, because he also has Circle of Protection artifacts out. So right now I can't do William any damage at all. But I can be really annoying and keep bouncing everything.
Man, that COP artifact is actually relevant here, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I gain some life from my tower, and then I lose some life from... So the tower is keeping me alive here because it's evening out the damage from the...
Wow.
The Underworld Dreams.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it was a long, slow, patient game to get to this point, but you eventually... creeped up to 7 cards, and now you can just gain life off of that. But you were down to like 6 earlier. He felt like he almost had you, and those time elementals in the tower you clawed back.
Like look at how much mana I have, and I still didn't cast that Azure Drake this turn because I wanted to have two time elementals worth of mana up.
Yeah.
So I played the Fellwar Stone instead, so I could get to 4 for the next turn.
Wow.
I bounced both the Underworld Dreams. I actually gain life this time and don't lose it.
Oh my god. Yeah, so you're just like, it's like a painful incremental, like slow. It's almost like molasses, but you're gaining the momentum.
Yeah, I'm eventually gonna have 1 threat that can do damage to him, and I'll be able to get in with it. If I can stick both of these Drakes and not have him kill one of them or put a Spirit Link on one of them or whatever, I can start attacking and get 2 damage per turn in. So he can't recast, of course, both of his Underworld Dreams, and I probably just return both of them. At some point, I think I return the COP, but maybe I don't do it now. Oh no, I return the Maze of Ith and the Relic Barrier. That's funny.
Oh.
Because I just want to try something different, because I'm not really worried about the damage anymore. So I gain 3, lose 2. Just try to keep his board clear.
But now you can get in with some Drake damage.
Yeah, I can maybe get in for 4 with the Drakes now with the maze returned.
Yeah. You have 16 mana with your workshop and Flowerstone.
Well, he's got a lot too. He's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's got 12.
Yeah.
So he's got access to 12. I've got access to 16. It's pretty wild. But these time elementals really have the game locked up in a way that is not good for him.
It's really it's a losing battle because he can never kill them because you can just bounce them. The only way he could ever kill them is if he had some kind of instant, but he doesn't. You know, like there's no instant damage.
Yeah, there's so few in this format. Most of the kill spells are sorceries or enchantments.
Yeah.
Oh wow, there's another Underworld Dreams.
Ooh, wow, that could change things.
Do I bounce those this time? I forget.
Oh, that could change the game right there. That but you've got the Ivory Tower. So your Ivory Tower, oh my god, the Ivory Tower is the operative. I mean, there's so many operative cards here. The Time Elementals, the Ivory Tower, the Maze of Ith. Like, there's so many intricacies going on. It's just like, oh, man.
I need every single one of the cards that I have to just, manipulate the game, and I still can't do anything.
Yes, but you're surviving, and you're gaining the edge a little bit every turn. Oh, look at this. You're hitting in for 6.
So there's where it takes where I finally get to the turn, and then I play my third time elemental. And he just said, I'm like, how about this third time elemental? And he says, well, that's disgusting. and then check this out. This is great right here.
Ashes to ashes.
So funny.
Ashes to ashes.
Better.
Oh,
check this out.
Hellfire.
He's got the Hellfire, right?
Yes.
So he casts a Hellfire here.
Yes.
And it's pretty funny what I decide to do. I don't even know if it's the right play, but it's definitely the play that I want to make. So he casts the Hellfire, and I'm like, well, what do I save, right? What do I save? And I'm like, who cares about the rest of my creatures? There's more of them in my deck. Even though that's what I'm winning with, that's what's in my deck. I can draw more. But these time elementals, I gotta save. So, here we go. I
see where you're going with this.
2 of my time elementals can pop themselves back to my hand.
And everything else just dies.
And then I even boomerang my third time elemental to my hand.
No.
Because I'm like, well, I don't want to lose any time elemental.
Oh my god. Oh no. That's horrible, John. That's disgusting.
It's really stupid.
Oh, but he's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. So he takes 7 damage because he takes 3 plus 4 damage.
Yeah, he ends up taking 7 damage. And I'm wondering if I didn't bounce any of my creatures, would he have just taken 10 if I let him kill the time elementals? Would it have just killed him? Maybe it would have killed him. So I don't know if that was actually the right play, but it was the most fun play I could possibly make. So
well, it's also the most annoying play because now you got 3 time elementals back in your hand.
So now I'm like, what do I play this turn? Oh, let's play time elemental and time elemental and time elemental. Oh,
well, but why would you play all 3 of them there? You might want to save some mana to bounce.
Well, I can't bounce any of them because they all have summoning sickness. So I need to get them. I need to get them out there so that they're active.
So what he really needed there was another Hellfire, but that would kill him.
He does oubliette one of them.
Okay.
So I draw. I gain some life. I lose some life. What do I do here? Am I really that worried at this point? I guess I bounce one of the Underworld Dreams just so that I take a little bit less damage. Just so that I don't really lose any life. I bounce another What did I just bounce with that one? I don't know. Oh, I bounced the COP artifact, but he activates it on my Triskelion, so I can't attack him with it, which is totally fine. I play another Trike. Oh yeah, that's game. That's game. So I end up doing him the last 3 points of damage with a Triskelion. But it was a pretty wild match and a pretty great match. And I definitely only won game 3 because of the time elementals.
Right.
And the tower, because I would have died if I didn't have the tower.
The Ivory Tower, yeah. The Ivory Tower and the Maze of Ith and the Workshop and the Diamond Valleys early on. And like there were so many things that were just pivotal, turning point, like absolutely critical cards. Wow.
Just absolutely my favorite match I've ever played of Four Horsemen. It was so interactive and so ridiculous. And
I don't know if William would say the same thing. That with his he might not think it's his favorite match.
No, he laughed out loud when I returned all 3 time elementals to my hand. He thought it was the funniest thing.
Wow.
He's like, why don't you just return that Triskelion and kill me with it? And I'm like, because I don't want any of my time elementals to die. I want to lose 0 time elementals in this exchange. There's more Triskelions in my deck. I'll draw another one. And I did draw another one. But,
man. Wow, what a game. Holy crap. So you guys here are talking it through and talking about sideboarding and talking about the game intricacies here. Well, John, I mean, what an amazing match. We are at an hour and 36 minutes on this match. Never Say Never Again versus the Spirited Ogres and Witches Transmogrant deck. What a game. Wow. Just like, you're right. That was a fantastic match.
I feel like that's what you want to see both as a viewer and as a player. Like, I hate it when they're just like super lopsided, matches where the other person can't do anything. Because there were a bunch of times in that game where I thought, can he eke this out? Like, can he still kill me? But I had so many moving pieces that allowed me to take control of that game. Like, it truly was playing a control deck in the game 3, even though we don't have mana drain anymore. I was controlling it in other ways through tempo and through bouncing things. So It's blue's still real strong. Like, I didn't know if it still would be after mana drain got nerfed, but
it really is.
Blue's still real good.
Blue, who would have known? Blue is still really good. All right, well, so that wraps up our Tournament 13 Four Horsemen Old School Magic quarterfinals. Never Say Never Again. Blue, mono blue artifact control versus the Spirited Ogress and Witches Transmogrant deck. Thanks for joining me today, John. This was a fantastic match, one of the best we've seen in a long time. And for those of you out there who are paying attention to this tournament, so John, through just like an amazing series of matches, is going to be proceeding on to the semifinals. And William, hats off to William for his deck. I think William deserves a Spice Award for that black-white deck. And if anybody out there wants to join us for some Four Horsemen Old School Magic, we play every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us at fourhorsemenmagic.com. And you can play some Four Horsemen Old School Magic on Thursday nights. Also, we are going to be doing our tournament number 14. Can you believe that, John? We're at 14 tournaments for Four Horsemen.
We made it. We're there. We're still around.
Yes. We're moving into the summer, and so we got the Desert Nomads theme going on here for Four Horsemen Tournament 14. We're going to run this tournament May 17th through June 16th, so we got a couple weeks break. Let everybody take some downtime, do some brewing. Join us at facebook.com/groups/4horsemenmtg or fourhorsemenmagic.com. We'd love to have you for Tournament 14. And with that, John and I are signing off for our Tournament 13 quarterfinals. Thank you for joining us. John, thanks for commentating with me. And we will see you guys next time.
See you next time.